What's up, y'all? Cam, that guy here, back once again with another YouTube video, man. So I got an advice video, you know what I'm saying? That's right, you know what I'm saying? I got a advice video, you know what I'm saying? Get ready to come, man. So this is gonna be an interesting advice video. This is something a little bit more off grid, but I'm gonna give an advice video on how to get a learner's license, aka a permit. You know what I'm saying? This is something I could give knowledge on. You know what I'm saying? Believe it or not, came very, very close to getting my driver's license. Guardians just didn't want me to test. I felt very confident I was going to pass that driver's test. Like I knew the general information. Like I knew the basis. Like I was really confident. I was getting ready to take this driver's test. Like I really wanted to take this driver's test, but Guardians did not want me to test type shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I want to give out how to get a learner's license because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's harder to study for the test and get the answers right on a written test. The written test is harder than the actual physical driving test. I can tell you that up front. I just know it for a fact. You know what I'm saying? So it's easier to drive versus to do a written worksheet test. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you that. I'm telling you, so believe me, you know what I mean? So I want to give out advice to all the youngins out there that's, studying for their learner's license, trying to get, their license, trying to get the permit and shit like that. How to get it, you know what I'm saying? So here we go, man. So first things first, with me, I did not study the permit book. I did not study the learner's license book. How I got my driver's license, learner's license, or whatever, is I did a lot of online tests. You have to do a lot of online tests. You have to do a multitude of online tests. So in other words, I like to take the DMV written test. They got like 50 questions on there. They got like I think like 12 different tests on there, right? It's like long as shit, you know what I'm saying? I like to take that. That's like my favorite one because it's the most hardest, challenging, realistic one. You keep taking it, you're gonna fail a lot at first. You're gonna fail, but the more you take it, the more you memorize the questions. It's a trial and error thing. It's like you memorize questions, and then after a while, you'll start to get the questions right. And also, believe it or not, a lot of getting a learner's license is common sense. You just gotta use common sense. Like you driving a car with your parents all the time and shit. You see what goes on the road and shit. A lot of it is common sense. So it's a mixture of common sense and trial and error on practice tests. That's what it is. That's how I got my learner's license. I did not study the book at all. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying totally discard the book. The book can help out others that are able to read a book, people that like reading books and shit. It can help out a lot, but I think doing practice tests and using common sense is way easier than studying that book because the book is just some of that information in the book you don't even need. Like some of that information in that book is useless. You see what I'm saying? I'm being honest with you. Well, it's not useless, but it's just information. Some of that is information you don't really need to know. I'm just gonna be honest with you. So that's why it's like it's best, if you're looking to, what I'm saying, get a learner's license or a permit quick, to take lots of practice tests and use common sense. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, I like to take the DMV written one. Then I like to take the DMV as this blue test. I like to take that one too. Then I like to take this other DMV test. You know what I'm saying? It's like yellow or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I like to take these type of tests because the questions on there, it will train your mind to knowing information on the road. You see what I'm saying? It will train your mind. It's going to train your body to know what information on the road and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to train it well and diligently. You just have to keep taking it. Like, let's say you fail, let's say out of these 50 questions, you only get like 12 or 13, 14 right. Take that shit again, you know what I'm saying? Take 2 to 3 tests a day. Take 2 to 3 of the same test a day. And after you master that test, move on to the next test. And then the next test. And then the next test. Take 2 to 3 of the same test a day until you master it. Then you move on to the next test. That's what you do. Take 3 to 4 of the same test a day. until you master it. Then you move on to the next test. That's what you gotta do. That's the best way to get a learner's license. Take the same test like 4 times a day. After that, after you get good at it, after you become really good at it, after you know it all, you know what I'm saying, after you master it, then you move on to the next test, and you keep doing that repeatedly until you memorize all the written DMV questions. Because some of these DMV questions that you see on the practice test, you will see on your real test. But some of them are kind of just like common sense type questions. You kind of just gotta think a little bit. You gotta use your brain a little bit. You gotta have a little intellectual in you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it all boils down to. Let me speak on my experience though. First time I went to go take a permit test, I was not ready. You see what I'm saying? It was sort of along. I just wanted to see what I was into. I wanted to see what I was getting into. Like, I knew a little bit of information, but I didn't know a whole lot. I took that test, failed it, right? I was like, oh my goodness, I might not ever get a permit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt really bad, you know, so I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? But in reality, I just wasn't ready like I was the second time. Second time I went to go take a permit, I made sure I was ready. Like, I knew, like, every practice test on the book. Like, I knew every single practice test online. Like, I knew every practice test online. Like, I could pass every practice test online. I had good general knowledge on the road and shit like that. Like, I knew I was ready the second time, and the second time I passed with flying colors. It was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is what I do type shit, you know what I'm saying? I passed because I was ready, like I knew more information on the road and shit. But one thing I will honestly say is that the first test I took did seem harder than the second test I took, you know what I'm saying? So each test you take, you know what I'm saying, is going to vary in difficulty, you know what I'm saying? Some tests will be harder than others, you know what I'm saying? That don't mean that the second test you take is going to be easier than the first one. The first test could very well be easier, and the second test could be harder type shit. But it felt like the first test I had way harder questions versus the second test. But the second test, the second time I took it, I was way more like just prepared to take it. So in other words, what I'm saying is, if you take the second time I take the test and put it to the first time, I would have passed that first time. If you put that me in that scenario, you know what I'm saying? That's basically what I'm trying to say. I was just overall more ready and prepared, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The first test I took had harder questions versus the second test. So basically, all it boils down to is just you have to take lots of practice tests. Take 4 days until you master the practice test. Then you move on to different tests and shit. Use a lot of common sense. Pay attention to when you're driving in the car with your parents or a friend or wherever the case may be, and ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Ask questions. If you're driving with somebody, ask them a question about this or that or this or that. You know what I'm saying? They can tell you. That's what it all boils down to. You know what I'm saying? You have to use a lot of common sense and take a lot of practice tests. So anyway, once I got my learner's test, I was driving on the road and shit. I mean, driving at first, like, driving the second go around was way better than the first go. I mean, the first go around, I was good at driving on the road. Like, I could drive with cars and shit. But I didn't know how to back in. I didn't know how to 3-point turn. I didn't know how to do the nitty gritty. The second go around, where I was trying to get my license again, I knew how to do the nitty gritty. I was this close to taking my license test, right? Guardians did not want me to take me, and I caught pneumonia, right? When I caught the pneumonia, it ruined everything, you know what I'm saying? But I was very, 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 very close to get ready to take my driver's test. But since I got sick and since Guardians gave up on me, I could never ever got that license test done, you know what I'm saying? If I would got that license test, who knows what my current present would be, you know what I'm saying? I would probably fuck around, have a car. I know I would have a car because I was saving my money for one. And I'll fuck around, drive out the city type shit, you know what I'm saying? Live somewhere else, you know what I mean? But all in all, you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is this. Getting a learner's license is if you do it my way, you see what I'm saying, you'll be successful. If you read the book, try to study the book page for page, try to memorize all that shit, it's gonna be hard. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that struggle with learning license tests, and then there's some people that are good with it. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of just depends on how you learn and what type of difficulty test you get when they give it to you during the DMV written test. You know what I'm saying? That's what it all boils down to. I know a guy, he failed the test 50 to 100 times. He finally got it. You know what I'm saying? He was autistic and everything. You know what I'm saying? But he finally got that shit. I'm shocked as hell. That nigga, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I would have gave up during like the 10th or 20th time. I would have been like, you know what, this ain't for me. But he kept going and eventually got it. So I would say just have confidence, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Believe you can get the test, and it'll happen. Like I said, I got mine on the second try. But to everybody, it's to each his own. Everybody has a different, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And like I said, he probably got that shit by luck, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, everybody's different. Just because you fail the first 2 or 3 times don't mean give up. You see what I'm saying? Like keep studying, keep trying and shit like that, and eventually you'll get it. And look, if my way don't work, try reading the book. That might work out better for you and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, you know what I'm saying? Getting a learner's license is a good ass feeling, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my biggest accomplishments in life is getting the learner's license, like I'm being honest with you. Next, I just have to get an actual license. I have to actually get to driving where I could drive by myself. And I'm really comfortable driving. Like, I know how to drive on the road. Like, I know how to drive with cars and shit. I am a good driver. The only thing I struggle with is parking. You know what I'm saying? That's what niggas don't realize, bro. I promise you, bro. I am a good driver. The only thing I struggle with is parking. And even then, towards the second time while I was driving, you know what I'm saying, trying to get back driving and shit, I knew how to park type shit. You know what I'm saying? I was better at parking. Like, a nigga knew how to back in. I could parallel park. I could do all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, a nigga got better, you know what I'm saying, the second go around came driving just because, you know what I'm saying, I was more wiser, more focused and shit. So I really cannot wait till I get back driving. I can't wait till I get this driver's license test and all that other shit. Cause I'm gonna feel accomplished as fuck. Like I'm gonna feel like man, I'm gonna feel good as fuck once I finally get a license. Like that is a serious goal of mine is to get a license. Like I need to get that shit. And I mentioned this in my New Year's resolution video back on my channel when I did that eating thing. You know what I'm saying? I was like getting a license is something I really want to do. I just haven't had time to do it because nobody wants to take me driving. Nobody wants to help me, right? So, you know, so hopefully I get lucky. I can connect with somebody that can have time to teach me how to drive or whatever. But that's to be determined and shit like that. But, yeah, all in all, you know what I'm saying? This is pretty much the end of this video, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this is the end of this video, you know what I'm saying? How to get a learner's license, a.k.a. a permit. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, you know what I'm saying? If you did, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Yeah.